73% of American parents make the same mistake every single day, and it's teaching their children to be disrespectful. But here's what's shocking. 91% have no idea they're doing it. If you've ever said the words, "because I said so," to your child, this episode will change everything you thought you knew about raising respectful kids. Most parents across America believe that demanding obedience creates respect. They were taught this by their own parents, passed down through generations, the idea that children should listen without question. So when little Aiden asks, "Why?" for the 10th time, parents shut it down. "Because I'm your mother, that's why. Don't talk back to me. When you're under my roof, you follow my rules." They think they're teaching respect. They think they're maintaining authority. Here's the problem. When you demand compliance without explanation, something happens in your child's developing brain. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and empathy, gets bypassed. The amygdala, the fear center, lights up instead. Your child isn't learning respect. They're learning fear. And over time, fear turns into resentment. Resentment turns into rebellion. But families in countries like Denmark, Finland, and even progressive communities right here in places like Portland and Austin, they're doing something completely different. Their kids rank among the most respectful in the world, not because they demand obedience, but because they model something else entirely. What do they know that 73% of American parents don't? Here's what 91% of parents don't realize. A groundbreaking study from Stanford University in 2021 followed 1,200 families across all 50 states for 5 years. They tracked parenting styles and measured disrespectful behavior in children aged 5 to 15. The results were stunning. Families who used authoritarian tactics, the "because I said so" approach, saw disrespectful behavior increase by 68% as children aged. Eye-rolling, talking back, ignoring requests, it all escalated. Families who explained their reasoning and modeled respectful communication, disrespectful behavior decreased by 54%. Same age range, same socioeconomic backgrounds. The difference was communication style alone. That's a 122% gap in outcomes. But here's what shocked researchers most. It wasn't about being permissive. The respectful families still had rules, still had boundaries. The difference was in how they enforced them. Let me break down the mechanism inside your child's brain. The developing brain has 3 critical systems working together. The prefrontal cortex handles reasoning, planning, and understanding consequences. The anterior cingulate cortex processes empathy and perspective taking. The mirror neuron system learns by watching and imitating adults. When you use the authoritarian approach, saying things like, "do it now, no questions," you activate your child's threat response. Cortisol floods their system. The prefrontal cortex shuts down. They can't access reasoning. They can't process why the rule matters. They only feel controlled. And here's the crucial part. Those mirror neurons, they're watching everything. When you speak to your child without respect, without explanation, they're learning that's how people with power treat people without it. But when you explain your reasoning, even briefly, when you say, "We need to leave in 5 minutes because your sister has soccer practice at 4 and we promised we'd be there," something completely different happens. The prefrontal cortex stays engaged. Your child processes cause and effect. The anterior cingulate activates. They consider someone else's needs. Those mirror neurons record. This is how respectful people communicate. This is how you treat others when you disagree but need cooperation. Dr. Rebecca Morrison, a developmental psychologist at UCLA, puts it this way. Children don't learn respect from being disrespected. They learn respect by being respected and by watching adults model respectful behavior, even in moments of frustration. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Case study 1. Harper, a mother of 2 in Chicago. Her 9-year-old son, Mateo, had become increasingly defiant, refused to do homework, talked back constantly. Every interaction was a battle. Harper's default was, "Because I'm your mother." The more she said it, the worse Mateo's behavior became. She learned about the explanation approach and felt skeptical. Wouldn't explaining everything undermine her authority? But she committed to trying for 30 days. Within 2 weeks, something shifted. When she explained, "I need you to finish homework before video games because your brain retains information better when you practice right after school," Mateo still grumbled, but he did it. By week 4, he started asking questions instead of arguing. "Why do we have to visit Grandma every Sunday?" became a conversation about family values instead of a power struggle. 6 months later, his teachers reported a complete turnaround in attitude. Case study 2, a completely different scenario. Willow, a single dad in Houston with a teenage daughter, Zoe. At 15, Zoe had mastered eye rolling and door slamming. Willow implemented the same principle, but adapted it for a teen. Instead of just explaining his rules, he started asking Zoe to explain her perspective first. "Help me understand why you think a midnight curfew is unreasonable." Then he'd share his reasoning. "I worry about your safety because car accidents spike after 11 p.m., especially with new drivers." They negotiated. 11 p.m. curfew with check-in texts. Zoe felt heard. Willow felt assured. The disrespectful behavior dropped by half in just 3 weeks. Case study 3. An entire school district in Minnesota implemented this approach. Teachers were trained to explain classroom rules with reasoning, not just demand compliance. Before the program, 72% of discipline issues involved disrespectful behavior. After 1 academic year, that dropped to 28%. Office referrals decreased by 63%. Student surveys showed 84% felt more respected by adults. The pattern is crystal clear. Respect is learned through modeling, not demanded through authority. The method is called the REAR framework: reason, empathy, action, respect. It was developed by child development specialists at the University of Michigan and originally used in therapeutic settings for families in crisis. Now it's used by parents across America who want to build genuine respect instead of fearful compliance. Why does it work? Because it mirrors how the brain actually processes and internalizes values. You're not fighting against your child's development, you're working with it. Step 1. Reason. Give the real explanation. Your goal is to activate your child's logical thinking, not their defensive reaction. This takes 15 to 30 seconds. Here's how. State the rule, then immediately follow with a "because" statement that's genuine and specific. Real-life example. Your 10-year-old, let's call him Lincoln, wants to skip his chores. Wrong, the old way. Clean your room right now because I said so. I'm not arguing about this. The brain's reaction? Threat detected. Prefrontal cortex offline. Resentment building. He cleans the room while fuming, learning nothing except that power means you don't have to explain yourself. Right, the new way. I need you to clean your room before dinner because we're having Grandma over tomorrow, and having a tidy space helps everyone feel comfortable. Also, you'll find your soccer cleats faster in the morning. Brain reaction? Logic engaged. He understands cause and effect. He might not love the chore, but he gets why it matters beyond just obeying. Common mistakes. First mistake. Giving fake reasons. Because it's good for you isn't specific enough. Kids can smell vague adult speak. Second mistake, over-explaining. You're not writing a dissertation. 2 sentences maximum. Signs you're doing it right? Your child might still complain, but they start doing the task. They stop asking why repeatedly. You notice them starting to explain their own requests to siblings. Step 2, empathy. Acknowledge their feelings without backing down. Goal, show them that being frustrated doesn't mean they're wrong to have boundaries, but boundaries still exist. Time needed, 10 seconds. Specific actions. Name the emotion you see, validate it, hold the boundary anyway. Example scenario. Your 7-year-old daughter Isla wants candy before dinner. Wrong approach. Stop whining. You're being ridiculous. No means no. Her brain hears, your feelings are wrong. You're bad for having them. Right approach. I can see you're really disappointed. It's hard to wait when you want something right now, and dinner is in 15 minutes, so the answer is still no candy. Her brain learns, my feelings are valid. Adults have feelings too. Respect means acknowledging emotions while maintaining boundaries. Step 3, action. Give them appropriate control. This is the step 78% of parents skip. It's also the most powerful for building respect instead of resentment. Offer a choice within your boundary. Not a choice about whether to comply, but how or when. Back to Lincoln and his room cleaning. Add this. You can clean it now before you play or right after dinner, which works better for you. Suddenly, he has agency. The mirror neurons record, respectful people give others autonomy when possible. They don't control for the sake of control. Step 4, respect. Model the tone you want back. This is simple, but not easy. Speak to your child the way you'd speak to a colleague you're frustrated with, but still respect. Not pleading, not yelling. Firm, calm, clear. If you mess up and snap at them, and you will because you're human, here's the advanced technique. Apologize and model repair. I'm sorry I raised my voice. I was frustrated, but that wasn't respectful. Let me try again. When children see adults admit mistakes and repair relationships, they learn the most important respect lesson of all. Respectful people take responsibility for their impact on others. Let's bring this home. The because I said so approach is teaching disrespect, not respect. The truth? Children learn respect by being respected and watching you model respectful communication. The REAR framework. Give your reason clearly, show empathy for their feelings, offer action choices within boundaries, model respect in your tone. You'll see small changes in 1 to 2 weeks, significant shifts by week 6, and long-term transformation in how your child treats others within 3 months. Start today with this. The next time your child resists a request, pause before you speak. Take one breath. Then use one sentence to explain why it matters. That's it. Just start there. Tomorrow, add the empathy piece. Acknowledge what they're feeling. This week, practice offering choices within your boundaries. If you do this consistently for 14 days, you'll notice your child's tone starting to shift. That's their brain rewiring. Keep going for 6 weeks, and you'll see them start explaining things to younger siblings or friends the same way you've been explaining to them. I've created a free daily tracker you can download. It's in the episode description. Just a simple checklist to help you remember the 4 steps until they become automatic. I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me, what's the hardest part about staying calm when your child pushes back? I read every single comment, and I'll respond to as many as I can. Next episode, we're tackling the second biggest mistake. Why praising your child for being smart actually backfires, and what to say instead that builds real confidence. Thanks for listening. Now go show your kids what real respect looks like.